Jenna Marbles. Jenna Murray, known to the world as Jenna Marbles, is one of the most recognizable names in YouTube history. She joined the platform in 2010, and right from the start, she tapped into a style of humor and relatability that resonated with millions. Her very first uploads, How to Trick People into Thinking You're Good Looking, was a satirical take on a beauty tutorial format and instantly went viral. Within weeks, Jenna's face was everywhere. She became a fixture on YouTube's trending page, racking up subscribers faster than almost anyone before her. Over the years, she refined her comedic style while keeping a sense of authenticity that her audience connected with. Her videos ranged from absurd challenges to sarcastic rants to genuine life updates. She didn't just play a character, she built a personality that felt like a friend you were catching up with every week. As her popularity grew, she crossed into mainstream pop culture. Talk show appearances, mentions in magazines, even a wax figure in Madame Tussauds. But in June 2020, everything changed. Jenna uploaded a serious toned video addressing several pieces of older content where she had perpetuated racial stereotypes and offensive jokes. In the video, she directly acknowledged the harm those videos could cause, explaining that she didn't want to contribute to a platform where people might feel unwelcome because of her actions. She announced that she would be stepping away from YouTube indefinitely, and she privated or removed much of her past content. The video was a shock to her fanbase. For a creator with a decade-long track record and no signs of slowing down, the sudden self-imposed exit felt almost unthinkable. But Jenna stuck to her word. After that upload, her channel went completely silent. No rebrand, no pivot to another platform, no surprise return months later, just gone. Her departure left a noticeable gap in the YouTube landscape. Many creators credited her as an influence, and fans continued to comment on her old videos, expressing hope she might one day come back. And to be honest, same. I still miss her and hope she'll come back to us. Geriatric 1927. In August 2006, just over a year after YouTube launched, an 80-year-old man from England named Peter Oakley posted a short, unpolished video titled First Try. Sitting in a plain room, speaking directly to the camera, Oakley introduced himself and explained that he wanted to share stories from his life. His username, Geriatric1927, referenced his birth year. The video's simplicity stood out in a sea of jump cuts, comedic skits, and music clips. There were no flashy effects, no background music, just an elderly man telling his story. In an era when most YouTube creators were teenagers or 20-somethings, his presence was a complete novelty. Within a week, his channel became the most subscribed on the platform, something no one could have predicted. Over the next year, Peter uploaded dozens of videos, talking about everything from his childhood in the UK to his experiences serving in World War II, to reflections on how the world has changed over 8 decades. His voice was calm, his demeanor was warm, and his storytelling entirely authentic. By the end of 2006, he had over 30,000 subscribers, a massive audience for the time, and major news outlets were covering his rise as YouTube's most unlikely star. As YouTube evolved and became more fast-paced and algorithm-driven, his audience growth plateaued. The platform's shift toward highly produced content meant his quiet, unedited style was less likely to serve as in recommendations, but he remained consistent, posting regularly and engaging directly with viewers in the comments. In early 2014, Peter revealed in a short update that he had been diagnosed with terminal cancer. His final uploads were brief thank you messages and reflections on his time making videos. That summer, his channel went silent. He passed away later that year at the age of 86.
Over the last 6 years, it is you that has helped me to be content with my life, and because of the joys of me being able to communicate with you in the facilities of YouTube.
His channel remains untouched to this day. Eckhoff, known online as Apetor, was a Norwegian YouTuber whose mix of humor, eccentricity, and sheer fearlessness made him a cult figure on the platform. He created his channel in 2006, but it wasn't until the 2010s that his video began to gain traction outside of Norway. His style was instantly recognizable. Shirtless in freezing weather, skating across barely frozen lakes, diving into icy waters, or pouring himself a drink in the snow. These stunts were often introduced with his cheerful catchphrase, "Hello, my name is Apetor. delivered in a deadpan tone that only made the scenes more surreal. His content wasn't about flashy editing or high production, it was about the absurdity of doing something so extreme and acting like it was perfectly normal. But beneath the humor, there was a very real element of danger. Many of his videos took place on thin ice or in sub zero conditions, where one mistake could be life threatening. Viewers joked in the comments about the risks, but it was always with the unspoken assumption that he had it under control. The balance of thrill and charisma kept fans coming back. Then, in November 2021, tragedy struck. Just 5 days after his birthday, reports emerged that Eckhoff had fallen through the ice while filming near Kongsberg, Norway. Emergency responders managed to pull him from the water, but he didn't survive. The news was met with shock and disbelief. For years, people had teased that one of his stunts might end badly, yet nobody truly believed it would happen. His channel remains online, with his final videos now carrying an almost haunting quality. In his last uploads, he celebrated his birthday, a tradition in his content, unaware it would be his final post. He literally called it, "I am not dead, I am 57 today." Then he dies 5 days later. That's chilling. In the years since, Apetor's work has continued to circulate on Reddit, TikTok, and YouTube compilations. New viewers are still discovering his mix of humor and daredevil spirit, while longtime fans revisit old uploads both to laugh and to remember. WillDaBeast. In the early 2010s, YouTube was still a place where casual personal uploads could gain traction. And for 18-year-old Will Norton, better known by his channel name WillDaBeast888333, it was the perfect outlet. His videos were a mix of vlogs, light-hearted sketches, and uploads about his daily life. There was nothing polished or overly produced, but that was part of the charm. His audience wasn't massive by today's standards, but it was engaged. In May 2011, Will had just graduated high school in Joplin, Missouri. He was preparing to attend film school with a future that seemed wide open. Friends and family described him as creative, driven, and full of energy. His YouTube channel reflected that, full of personality and small moments that gave viewers a window into his life. But on May 22nd, everything changed. That afternoon, Will was riding in a car with his father, heading home from his graduation ceremony. Without warning, one of the deadliest tornadoes in US history struck the city. Classified as an EF5, the storm tore through Joplin with winds exceeding 200 miles per hour, leveling entire neighborhoods in minutes. As the tornado hit, their car was lifted off the road. The strong wind snatched Will out of his seatbelt, and he was pulled through the sunroof. His father survived, but Will did not. His body was found days later, and the tragedy made national headlines. Amid the massive scale of destruction, Will's story stood out, a personal face in a sea of statistics. In the days following his death, Will's YouTube channel became an impromptu memorial. Friends, classmates, and strangers from across the internet flooded his comment section with condolences. Local news stations aired clips from his videos showing his humor and warmth to audiences who had never known him before. Today, the channel remains exactly as it was in 2011. His subscriber count hasn't moved in years. YOTESLAYA. Brian Rickard, known online as YOTESLAYA, was one of the early names in YouTube gaming. Starting in 2008, he built a following with Call of Duty Zombies gameplay and custom map tutorials. His commentary was laid back, peppered with jokes, and delivered with the confidence of someone who knew the game inside out. By 2013, YOTESLAYA had become a personality in the COD community. He streamed regularly, collaborated with other creators, and was known for his challenges and speedruns. His channel had over 500,000 subscribers, which was a massive audience for the time. On October 23, 2013, Rickard and two friends were driving in a pickup truck in Indiana during the early hours of the morning. At around 2:30 a.m., while joyriding, they attempted to cross train tracks at a location that wasn't a sanctioned crossing. Their truck collided with an oncoming freight train. All three men were killed instantly. News of his death spread quickly through the gaming community. Fellow YouTubers posted tribute videos, fans left thousands of messages on his last uploads, and clips of his gameplay circulated as a way of remembering him. YOTESLAYA's page is still online, with his tutorials and zombie runs exactly as he left them. For his fans, revisiting those videos is a way of keeping his voice alive. Hobestobe. Jim Williams, online known as Hobestobe, was a creator who documented a lifestyle far removed from the everyday. His channel featured urban exploration, train hopping, and hitchhiking, activities that combine travel with an undeniable level of risk. His videos weren't polished productions. Instead, they showed the raw, direct experience of moving through the world without the structure or safety nets most people rely on. Williams began uploading in the late 2000s. His subscriber count remained relatively modest, but the audience he did have was loyal. They tuned in not just for the visual spectacle of freight trains and abandoned structures, but for the sense that what they were seeing was real. His content offered a look into a subculture few experience firsthand, where travel isn't booked in advance and destinations aren't always known until you arrive. In November 2017, Williams was in Montana attempting to hop into a moving freight train. Train hopping was something he had filmed before, and it was a recurring part of his online identity. On this day, however, things went wrong. According to witness accounts, as he tried to board, he slipped and fell onto the tracks. The train struck him before he could recover. He was killed instantly. The news of his death spread quickly among the urban exploration and train hopping communities. Fans and fellow travelers left comments on his videos, expressing shock and grief. Many described how his channel had inspired them to explore, or at least to see the world in a different way. His YouTube channel remains as it was days before his death. Colossal Carnage 08. Chloe Shaw, known online as Colossal Carnage 08, was a teenager from the United Kingdom who became active on YouTube in the late 2000s. Her channel featured personal videos, webcam chats, and casual updates, the kind of unscripted, direct to camera content common at the time. She often interacted with her audience in a relaxed conversational way, speaking openly about her life and interests. Over time, however, Shaw became the target of sustained online harassment. She was subjected to persistent cyberbullying, including hurtful messages and public ridicule from peers. Some of this harassment carried over to her offline life, creating a cycle where she couldn't escape the negative attention, whether she was online or offline. The abuse intensified to the point where it began to take a toll on her mental health. In her final weeks, Shaw's online presence reflected a growing sense of distress. She made posts and comments indicating she was struggling to cope with the pressure and isolation the bullying created. In March 2010, at just 14 years old, Chloe Shaw died by suicide. Her death drew attention to the dangers of cyberbullying, both in her local community and online. In the days and weeks following, her YouTube page became a place where friends, classmates, and viewers left messages expressing grief and remorse. Some openly acknowledged the role harassment had played, using the comment sections to call for change in how people treat others online. Colossal Carnage 08's channel has remained online in the years since, though it is no longer active. Her videos, simple, unedited, and personal, now serve as a reminder of the very different, less polished era of YouTube they came from, and of the risks that come with living part of your life in a public space. Harley Dilley. Harley Dilley was a 14-year-old from Port Clinton, Ohio, who ran a small YouTube channel under his own name. His uploads were a mix of vlogs, gaming videos, and casual clips, the kind of content typical for a teenager filming his day-to-day life. Most videos were lighthearted, but they also showed glimpses of Harley's personal struggles. He often argued with his parents, and on at least one occasion, he uploaded a video saying he had been locked out of the house. On December 20th, 2019, Harley left home to walk to school. He never made it there. His disappearance triggered an immediate search effort. Local police, volunteers, and neighbors combed the town. Flyers went up, security footage was checked, and his story quickly spread online. As news outlets covered the case, Harley's small YouTube channel became a point of public interest, with viewers revisiting his old videos for clues or insights. For weeks, no one knew where he was. Then, in January 2020, investigators made a discovery just 2 blocks from his home. Inside the chimney of an unoccupied summer house, they found Harley's body. Authorities determined he had likely tried to enter the house from the roof and became trapped. The coroner ruled his death accidental. The revelation stunned the community. There was no foul play, no clear reason why he tried to get into the vacant property, just an unexplained chain of events that ended in tragedy. Today, Harley's YouTube channel is still online. What was once a small personal outlet has become a memorial space. Strangers and former viewers leave comments expressing shock, grief, and sympathy. Some still comb through his old videos, including the ones where he filmed himself locked out of his home, trying to piece together the boy behind the headlines. But in the end, the videos remain what they always were: fragments of an ordinary teenager's life, frozen in time by an extraordinary and heartbreaking ending. Nomatic Statik. Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie ran the YouTube channel Nomatic Statik, which they launched in 2021 to document their travels across the United States in a converted van. Their content featured scenic locations, nature shots, and glimpses of their life on the road. The channel's style was calm and atmospheric, pairing visuals of mountains, lakes, and campsites with minimal narration. In the summer of 2021, the couple began a cross country trip that they planned to share through their social media platforms. As the journey progressed, Gabby continued posting on Instagram, but uploads to YouTube were infrequent. The channel contains only a single travel vlog, uploaded in August of 2021. By early September, concern grew among Gabby's family after they lost contact with her. On September 11, 2021, she was officially reported missing. At that time, Brian had already returned alone to his parents' home in Florida, driving the van they had been traveling in. He did not provide information about Gabby's whereabouts. The search for Gabby quickly became a national news story, with extensive media coverage on online discussions. On September 19, 2021, Gabby's remains were found in Wyoming's Bridger-Teton National Forest. The coroner determined that she had died by strangulation, and her death was ruled a homicide. Meanwhile, Brian Laundrie became the subject of a manhunt. He was reported missing by his parents on September 17th, saying he had gone for a hike in the nearby Calton Reserve and never returned. Weeks later, in October 2021, his remains were found in a reserve along with a notebook in which he claimed responsibility for Gabby's death. His cause of death was determined to be suicide by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. In the wake of the tragedy, Gabby's family launched the Gabby Petito Foundation to support efforts against domestic violence and to aid missing persons cases. The Nomatic Statik YouTube channel remains online, still containing that single vlog from August 2021. In the aftermath, some viewers have revisited the video, looking for possible clues or signs that might shed light on what happened during the trip. For others, it stands simply as the last glimpse of Gabby's life before the tragedy unfolded. Elliot Eastman. Elliot Eastman was an American creator living in the Philippines with his wife. His YouTube channel was small but personal, a mix of vlogs and everyday life abroad. The video gave glimpses into his routines, his neighborhood, and his thoughts on living overseas. It wasn't the kind of content that made headlines, until his sudden disappearance turned his channel into an unsettling archive. According to accounts from his wife and local reports, Elliot had expressed concerns about safety in the months before he went missing. He sometimes mentioned feeling uneasy, though it wasn't clear if he was worried about the specific threat or just the general risk of living in a foreign country. On the night of October 17th, Elliot was having dinner with his wife when 4 armed men entered their home. They were dressed in police uniforms, but something about them immediately told Elliot they weren't real officers. He ran, but the men opened fire, hitting him into the leg and abdomen. Wounded, he was forced at gunpoint into a motorized banca, a small boat, and taken out toward the Sulu Sea. What happened next came out only later, through police investigations and suspect testimony. One of the men involved, along with a relative of another suspect, claimed that Elliot died from his gunshot wounds during the abduction. His body, they said, was dumped into the sea. Despite these accounts, authorities have never recovered his remains. For weeks after the abduction, Philippine police, the FBI, and the US Embassy worked together on the case. Several suspects were arrested. Others were killed in police operations. The official position as of December 2024 is that Elliot is presumed dead, though investigators have not ruled out the possibility, however slim, that he might still be alive. The brutality of the crime shocked both locals and Elliot's small but loyal online audience. His final videos, Simple Moments of Life in the Philippines, are now viewed through the lens of the kidnapping, with viewers looking for any signs that danger was closing in. But like many online mysteries, the answers aren't in the footage. Whether he was targeted for ransom, revenge, or other motive remains unclear. All that's certain is that his story shifted from an obscure corner of YouTube to international headlines, and ended, at least for now, in a vast, unanswered silence. Natural Selector 89. Natural Selector 89 was the online alias of Pekka Erik Ovenen, a Finnish teenager whose short lived YouTube presence would later be seen as a chilling prelude to one of Finland's darkest days. His channel was active in 2007 and featured videos that, at the time, may have looked like amateur or provocative content, but in hindsight revealed a disturbing mindset. Pekka uploaded clips related to violence, school shootings, and his own personal philosophy, which he described in manifested posted elsewhere online. His worldview was deeply nihilistic and heavily influenced by extremist content he found on the internet. He believed humanity was doomed and saw acts of violence as a form of rebellion against what he called the human race and its faults. On November 7, 2007, Pekka walked into Jokela High School in Tuusula, Finland, carrying a handgun. He killed 8 people, 5 male students, 2 female students, and the school's principal, before fatally shooting himself. It was the deadliest school shooting in Finnish history at the time, and it shocked the entire country. In the hours before the attack, Pekka posted his final video on YouTube. It featured ominous text, music, and images that now read like a direct warning of what was to come. It was literally called Jokela High School Massacre 11/7/2007. Within hours of the tragedy, the channel was taken down, but screenshots, video re uploads, and cached versions preserved its contents. He also uploaded his manifesto in Finnish and English, where he called his actions a terrorist attack, a total war against humanity, and natural selection. I wonder why he chose his YouTube channel name. The incident sparked widespread debate in Finland and beyond about how platforms should handle violent and extremist content, especially when it comes from young users. It also raised uncomfortable questions about whether more could have been done to spot the warning signs before the attack. Unlike many abandoned YouTube channels that fade into obscurity, Natural Selector 89 was erased deliberately, both to remove graphic content and to prevent further glorification of his actions. Today, only fragments remain in archives and news reports. For most of the internet, Pekka's channel is remembered not for its production value or audience size, but for the chilling fact that it served as both a manifesto and a countdown clock. Snake Bit McGee. Kenny Veach, known online as Snakebit McGee, was a hiker and adventurer from Nevada whose YouTube channel revolved around solo desert exploration. His videos often showed him trekking through remote canyons, abandoned mines, and rugged mountain trails, always with an upbeat, curious energy that made viewers feel like they were tagging along on his expeditions. Kenny's uploads were low budget but personal, filled with his own narration and the sounds of wind, boots on gravel, and the occasional rattle of a snake. He would share tips on surviving in the harsh Mojave Desert, joke about the dangers of the terrain, and occasionally hint at stranger stories. Like the time he claimed to have found a mysterious M shaped cave in the mountains that made his whole body vibrate when he approached it. That cave became a point of fascination for both Kenny and his audience. In the comments, viewers urged him to go back and film more of it, while others warned him to stay away. Kenny himself said the strange vibration had spooked him, but the mystery didn't let him go, so he planned a return trip. On November 10, 2014, Kenny set out for another solo hike in the Sheep Mountains, telling friends and family he was going to find that cave again. He never came back. His cell phone was later found at the mouth of an abandoned mine, but there was no signs of him. Despite extensive searches by police, volunteers, and even viewers who had followed his channel, Kenny's body has never been found. The circumstances of his disappearance have fueled years of speculation. Some believe he fell victim to the extreme conditions dehydration, fall, or getting lost. Others point to his talk of the M Cave and spin theories involving government testing, secret installations, or something stranger. His YouTube channel remains up, frozen at the point before he vanished. The video, once light-hearted records of exploration, now carry a haunting undertone. In the comments, new viewers still arrive hoping to piece together clues, chasing an answer to a mystery that may never be solved. So, what do you think happened to Snakebit McGee? And did you miss anyone in this video? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time!